Hi, it's Johnson Hirschlag with some tips on getting over the hump of squatting and deadlifting with a rounded back. Some people have this problem, and whether they're beginners or they're habituated to the problem of lifting with a rounded back, it's not good, and you need to get over it. And before we get into the tips of how to do it, I'm just going to demonstrate an improper lift with a rounded back so everyone's clear on what we're talking about. A rounded back, doing the, would be like this. I'm so used to doing it correctly, it's hard for me to do it bad. Okay, but the correct way to do the deadlift is with an arched back, a straight back, and it stays that way from beginning to end of the lift. Now, here's the tips on how to learn to habituate yourself to the proper lifting. Yeah, so the first thing is that the person has to connect his mind with the body and recognize when his body is his back is in extension and when it's in flexion. And to familiarize yourself, to get used to feeling which is which, I want you to train, just practice a few times on a full extension of the back and a full flexion of the back, so you feel the difference, and you get used to feeling what an extension and flexion is. And we're going to do this using the yoga position, which is called the cat. And if everyone has seen how cats stretch their backs and flex their backs, they do it like this. This would be a flexion. You want to do it rounding your back completely as much as you can and hold it for a few seconds. Then you do extension and hold it for a few seconds. Now in this exact position, that's how you want to be lifting when you're squatting or deadlifting. Now, yeah. So now you need to practice that yoga position a few times. Make sure you get the full extension, not just a partial extension. Get to the limit of your personal limit for your body. There's some people that they can get their backs overextended, but this video is not addressing those people. This video is addressing people who lift with a rounded back. So you want to push yourself to your limit of your body, of getting an extension, getting an arched back, and then regulate your body to that you can hold that position when you're lifting. Now, there's a few added tips we can put in here. When you're lifting, you want to concentrate on pushing your hips back, because if your hips are forward, you're going to be rounded. If your hips are back, you can hold and maintain that extended position. And the other thing is, you want your chest facing the wall as opposed to facing the floor. If your chest is facing the floor, you're going to have a rounded back. If your hips are forward and your chest is facing down, that's rounded. You want your hips back, chest up, and then you can do the lift properly. Okay, now in terms of the difference between squats and deadlifts, I see some people doing deadlifts with shoes that have high heels. If your heels are raised up, the higher your hips are, the more you're going to have to reach down to get to the bar, because you're starting up higher, and it's going to make it more difficult for you to arch your back. You're going to have more of a tendency. So if you have a problem of a rounded back, either take off your shoes and lift doing the deadlift, not the squat, doing the deadlift without any shoes, barefoot, or get what's called the minimal shoes with a minimal sole, very thin, both by the toes and the heel, just a minimal amount to give you a little bit of support, security, without being raised up. If your heels are raised up, it's going to be very hard, which is opposite in terms of the squat. having a raised heel is not a problem, it's an advantage. So one last time, a demonstration of a proper deadlift. This is a lightweight, but once again, when you're learning technique, you want to start out with a lightweight. You want to get in as many reps as you can until it's so habituated that it's second nature and that you will automatically do the lift properly. Then you raise the weights. You'll be able to get to the same weights that you were lifting before and even higher when you're doing proper technique. So you train yourself to have hold your position, your back in an arch position, back extension, and then you should be able to do the lift all the way from beginning to end with an arch back. All the best, wishing you success.